Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kenny Wallace Show, brought to you by JEGS, the leader in high-performance aftermarket car parts. Remember to go to jegs.com, and they are telling me that they have Jeep parts and truck parts in, and that is the big deal right now at JEGS. And, of course, they have everything to fix your hot rod up. All right, a little surprise today. There's the leader of our pack, Charlie Marlo. Charlie, how you doing?
I am doing great, Herm. How about yourself?
I'm still excited that you have that Dover background. Look at that crowd. There's so many people in the grandstands. Why? Yeah, they look good. Well, Charlie, listen, we have something brewing that we thought was interesting. And I am going to set the parameters, and I want your opinion on this. This is going to go where nobody thinks we're going to go. And it was you. It was you that came up with this. And you shocked me because you know more about racing now than I know. So, my brother Rusty. Hey, Herman, you always got to say my brother Rusty. Well, it's Charlie's fault because he's the one that. Okay, Rusty Wallace, the great Rusty Wallace. All right. 55 NASCAR Cup wins, 706 races, NASCAR Cup champion, 349 top tens, 36 poles. So it's fair to say that Rusty Wallace is great, and he is great because he's in the Hall of Fame. He's a champion, 55 wins. Now, here's where the fun comes in, and this is where we need all the people. We need you to respond right here. Denny Hamlin. Okay. Rusty retired from NASCAR at 50. Denny Hamlin is 43 right now. And in the past, this is where we've seen Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte. All these NASCAR drivers start retiring around this age. Listen to these stats, how eerily identical they are. So Denny Hamlin, 658 races. How many less races is that, Charlie, than Rusty Wallace?
I believe it is 48.
Okay, so Denny Hamlin is 48 less races than Rusty Wallace. Denny's got 54 wins. Rusty Wallace got 55. Rusty got 36 poles. Denny Hamlin got 41. Denny Hamlin got 343 top threes. Rusty, 349. I'm going to tell you what, top tens. Okay, so Rusty's got 349 top tens. Denny Hamlin has 343. I mean, these numbers are eerily single digit off, except the starts. That's pretty crazy. So the question is, who will end up being the best statistically, capital statistically? Who will end up being the best statistically? And Charlie, my question to you is this. Will Denny Hamlin win that championship?
First of all, I want Denny Hamlin to win the championship. Isn't it starting to feel like this could be his year? I don't know. Maybe it's because he's always in the news and he's got the podcast and all that. Yeah, when I was on Wikipedia, and I always go and look at some of these drivers, and I could not, this was a month or so ago. I could not believe how close Denny Hamlin and your brother Rusty Wallace are in terms of those stats. It's pretty dang crazy how close they are. I guess it also comes down to how much do you look at the championship? Now, in his press conference the other day, Denny said, I mean, what was the quote? I think I'm a better driver than some guys that have won a championship. And he said, look, I'd rather take 60 wins and no championships easy over one championship and 20 wins. Now, this is different because he and Rusty have the same amount of wins. I think it's fair to say that he needs the championship. Until he wins the championship, I don't think it's fair to say he's better than Rusty. Now, if he finishes with 65 wins, maybe can you open that conversation back up? But I think Denny needs a championship to say that he had a better career than Rusty Wallace. What do you think?
Well, I want to say this. Denny Hamlin is a lot like Rusty because they both ran their mouth. It's in the Wallace genes. It's Wallace's. We can't stop talking. Rusty, now I think it's funny. Rusty's like, I want to be like Roger Penske. I want to stay under the radar. And I'm like, oh, when the hell did what? Because Rusty was the greatest soundbite in NASCAR. It was Darrell Waltrip, Rusty. Rusty would talk and talk. And hell, he got suspended for saying the SHIT word. And so it's funny that Rusty Wallace and Denny Hamlin are eerily identical right now. I agree with you. Denny has to win a championship to be better than Rusty. However, Denny's 43. He has the ability and he has the time to be better than Rusty. I love my brother more than life, but I do want Denny to win the championship because I feel he deserves it. And I got to tell you, I feel like Denny Hamlin was accurate as all get out. We went over this with the great Michael Andretti. Michael led as many laps as anybody during the Indy 500. And for one reason, the Indy 500 let Michael Andretti down. So when you look at Denny Hamlin, I feel like Denny Hamlin's right in line there with the great Mark Martin. Mark Martin was going to win the championship, and his motor blew up. It flames. It was one of the most memorable championship losses in NASCAR history. The motor was built by Robert Yates. It was this big effort. So I do agree with Denny that sometimes championships are meant to be. I don't think it makes or breaks his career, but who is better, Rusty Wallace or Denny Hamlin? I'm going to go with you. Denny's got to win that championship to be better than Rusty. That's just my opinion. I don't think if Denny wins 60 wins, I still don't think that makes him better than Rusty. But Denny right now, if he keeps it up, they got all this athleticism, all these creams and all these things, Michael Jordan, he could go to 50 and it wouldn't be nothing.
Yeah, and you probably saw this the other day where Harvick interviewed Denny and the Joe Gibbs guys and had the question everybody on social media was talking about, who had the better career or whatever it was, Dale Jr. or Chase Elliott. And I think it's fair to say Dale Jr. is an iconic person in the sport. Now, if you want to make the argument Chase had a better career, he's obviously younger. But I think also the Earnhardt name, Dale Jr., what he does for the sport as an owner in the media, and I'll spin this to Rusty Wallace. I just think that your era, Rusty's era, the Dale Sr. era, it's so beloved that, Rusty Wallace is an iconic name. And I don't know if the drivers nowadays will ever match, whether it's Rusty, Mark Martin, Dale Sr. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like the sport was different. It was bigger. It was less corporate. And even though I think Denny Hamlin is the best thing going, I think he's the most interesting person in NASCAR right now, I still don't feel like in terms of cachet, in terms of the world knowing these people, I don't think it's the same as Rusty and Dale Sr. and Mark Martin in the 80s and 90s. Jeff Gordon.
I got to say that we will never see those iconic times ever again. Rusty Wallace could not walk down the street. Rusty Wallace and Dale Sr. had to have sheriffs. They had to have guards. They had to have security when they would do autograph sessions. Now you get an autograph session, it's over in 1 hour. We had to shut our autograph sessions off at 2 hours. You had people lined up around these blocks, a mile long. So I like that take from you, because if you're going to say Chase Elliott or Dale Earnhardt Jr., man, I'm going to tell you what, Dale Jr. is just iconic to the maximum peak. And here's why. Because even though he didn't do what his dad did, he did what his dad did successfully. Dale Jr.'s got 20-something wins. He didn't win the championship, but once again, it's like Dan Marino. Is Dan Marino, is he not a good quarterback because he didn't win the Super Bowl? He's legendary. But here we are again talking about it. I know quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl and you never heard from them again, don't even know their names. I think I look at the Washington Redskins. What was it, Doug Williams? He won the Super Bowl, but he was in and out. But only I remember his name because it's a stat. But if you're gonna say Dan Marino, Doug Williams, come on. And I think that's where Dale Jr. definitely was during that iconic era.
And I think with Dale, maybe this isn't just about driving, and I'm opening up the conversation into something different, but I was thinking of also iconic status. That's why I brought up Rusty. But Dale Jr., to me, what I'm 42 about, Dale's, I think, 49. To me, it was also Dale Jr. was MTV Cribs. Dale Jr. was hat on backwards. Dale Jr. was the red Bud car. Dale Jr. was cool. Dale Jr. brought people my age to know about NASCAR that didn't care about NASCAR. And that's where I think it differs from a Chase Elliott and even a Denny Hamlin, who, again, I love. I think Denny Hamlin is the best thing in NASCAR right now. He keeps it freaking interesting, but it's still on a different level than those guys from the 80s and 90s.
And Charlie Marlo, that's why you're really good at what you do. Well, race fans, let's end it there. I forgot about that era. You hit a home run, grand slam. You're exactly right. Dale Jr. was not afraid to go out and do it. I don't know what Jeff Gordon's got going on there. I texted Jeff Gordon. He goes, Kenny Wallace, I love you like a brother, but it's just not time to come on the Kenny conversation. So whatever's going on over there at Hendrick Motorsport, they don't want their drivers to do anything. Hey, I won the race. Goodbye. All right. Listen, everybody, please like and subscribe. Give us your opinion. We both say right now that Rusty Wallace is a better person, champion. What am I trying to say, Charlie? What is he just what do we think?
Figure? How about figure?
Okay, figure. We think
Brand.
Rusty Wallace is a better figure right now with his championship. But Denny Hamlin has the opportunity to kick Rusty's butt. I don't want to see that because I love my brother a lot. So respond right here. Tell us what you think. And we know that Denny's only 43, but that's okay. Right now, their stats are identical, except Rusty's got a championship. All right, everybody, remember, we are in podcast form. We're on iTunes and Spotify. Until the next time Charlie and I debate something like this, we'll see you next time.